everybody, how's it going? It's Chris and Kate, and we're sitting in front of a camera because we pre-recorded our live today. So today's live is about taking the Clic Magnum outside. Whenever we launched the Clic Magnum, everybody wanted to see it outside. I told you it would be coming, and here it is. So for anyone who doesn't know what makes the Magnum series of modifiers cool is the efficiency gain you get out of using those modifiers. So the cool thing about the Clic Magnum is on a lot of them, you're getting, 1.5 to 2 stops more light output just by using the modifier. And depending on certain placement of things like the Magnum from the original Magnum and the OCF Magnum, depending on the settings, you're going to get more efficiency than not. But with the Clic Magnum, it kind of just sets into place in one way, and that's the output you're going to get, which is up to 1.7 more stops of light output, which is really nice. It's a really awesome modifier. I've been waiting for it forever, but you were asking, how does this help me outside? What kind of performance am I going to get out of my A-series flash with the Clic Magnum when you're outside? So that's what we did today, or that's what the video that we're going to share with you today is. We went outside and shot a tennis portrait-inspired shot. I think the image came out pretty cool.
It's pretty fun.
We're battling some heavy backlight and some heavy reflections off of the tennis court. You'll hear me talking about that here in a second. We'll have some images to share, and we'll talk about them too towards the end of the live. Please ask questions. We're going to be rolling the video now, but ask any questions that you may have, and we will see you when the video is over.
All right, sounds good.
What's up, everybody? It's Chris with Pro Photo, and today we are outside on location putting the A2 and the Clic Magnum to the test. We've done some work inside showing you the differences between the Clic Magnum, the OCF Magnum, and the original Magnum reflector, and some people wanted to know how this thing worked outside in the wild. And so here we are. We're out in the wild. We're on a tennis court. We're going to be shooting a tennis fitness-inspired portrait of Kate right here. Shazam. And we're gonna have a good time making a cool image. Fairly easy as far as the setup goes. Let's jump into, again, the light, and we're gonna talk about the setup, and then we're gonna take a shot and let's see what it looks like. So as far as placement with Kate, so she's gonna be back here behind this line. So that's probably got her a solid 8 feet away from the light. So there's some good working distance there. It's pretty, it's a little bit later in the day right now. We're looking at, 4 o'clock-ish. The sun, it's now that we've got daylight saving time, the sun is still up a little bit higher. So the sun's up. It's going to be backlighting Kate, so it's going to give her a nice little hair light. And then we're going to be using the A2 just to fill in out here. We're really going to be pushing the A2 because what we're doing is trying to minimize how harsh the highlights are, especially with the sun bouncing off of this tennis court itself. The tennis court's kind of reflective, especially in my lens. So we're going to be pushing and I'll talk about my camera settings here, but we're going to be pushing the light a little bit to make up for the fact that we're going to be pretty dark on the actual overall exposure. So I'm going to be shooting from up high. You can see that I have a stool right here, and that is just going to be, 1, the angle's cool, 2, I don't really want so much of the recreational area in the background, so we're going to try to delete as much of that scene as I can. So we're going to be shooting with a wide open aperture of f2 with my camera lens, and we're going to be shooting downwards, so we're getting rid of that background. So again, A2, Clic Magnum, 8-foot working distance on Kate, sun in the background, and I've got my Fuji set up. So we could do this one of 2 ways, and I'm going to tell you the way that I'm doing it. So the cool thing about a lot of the stuff that we're doing these days is with the new triggers like the Connect Pros and all the TTL stuff, you can go easily into high-speed sync mode and start to battle some of the sun. The downside to high-speed sync is that you have some power loss or some efficiency loss. I hate to say power because you're still using the same amount of juice in your capacitors, so you have an efficiency loss when it comes to how much output you're actually getting from your flash. So I've opted for this to go the route of a neutral density filter. So on the front of my camera, I have, so camera-wise, just so you all know what we're working with, Fujifilm GFX 100S. I'm using the 110mm f2 lens. I will be at f2, so we're going to be wide open on it. And then I'm going to be using a variable neutral density filter. So we went f2 again to try to get the background a little more blurred out, so we don't have some of the playground stuff creeping in if my shot goes a little high. But I didn't want to lose the power on I didn't want to lose the output on the A2 for this shot, so I went the neutral density filter route instead. You could easily do something like this with high-speed sync. I just opted to go the neutral density filter route. It's something that I have. It's easy to pop onto the front of my lens and easy stuff. So I think what I should do first is I should take probably a shot and show them what it looks like without the A2. I should probably even take a shot to show them what everything looks like, just flat out without anything. So like just open up the neutral density filter. So
and if you guys have any questions, stick around to the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask your questions too. I'm going to be watching this as we're rolling the video. I'll be in the background looking at questions, get ready to answer anything that you might have. So cool. So let's take the first shot. We're going to turn off the Connect Pro. So right here, Kate. So let's go. Actually, I just want you to know. So the max sync speed on my camera is 125th of a second. And so if I were to expose for this shot properly, let me turn on my camera. If I were to expose for this shot properly, shutter speed wise, I would have to be living at, hold on one second, let me crank this shutter speed up. To get to where I want, I would be at about 2500th of a second. That roughly looks like this. So not bad. It's a nice silhouette of Kate. It'd be a cool image just in and of itself if you wanted to. So I don't want to go above those. I don't want to go above my shutter speed again because I don't want to go into high-speed sync. I would like to be, you know what? I'm in high-speed sync right now. Like I'm set the shutter mode up. Maybe let's take a high-speed sync shot and then we'll flip into the way that I want to shoot it with the neutral density filter so you can see the difference. So let's turn on the remote. Let's make sure that we are high-speed syncing. Perfect. So let's try this out. I know that we're going to need to push the shutter speed or the power output pretty hard on the A2, so let's do that. Let's boost it all the way up. So we're at 10. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So there we go. It actually performed better than I was expecting it to perform. So we have a really nice fill flash in on Kate. We're at full power on the A2, so it's at its max capacity. Downside for shooting at full power is you're going to get a little bit less battery life, but the upside is the A2's doing a great job of actually getting us a great image. Now let's flip over and I'll show you the same thing with the neutral density filter and out of high speed sync. So let's pop this onto the front of my camera lens. Make sure I don't drop it from way up high, right? Yeah. Details. So I'm going to bring my camera shutter speed back down below where it needs to be. So let's get right here. Let's go here. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong things. So the tough thing is it's super dark right now. Let's get to where we can see again.
Ready for me?
Nope, not just yet because I have messed up my camera. Hang on a second. There we go. Now I can see again. I got a little weird on me. Cool. So let's get my shutter speed back to where I want it. Down to 125th of a second. Perfect. So now I'm at my max sync speed. So when I look through my camera, I can use my live view display to get my preview exposure to where I want. So like if I took a shot now, let's turn the remote off just so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I took a shot now, you can see that it looks just like that first shot that we took when we just turned the shutter speed up. So a nice silhouetted image. It's not too contrasty on Kate. You can still see some details in there. And now we're going to fill it in with the A2. So let's turn that on. So again, we're at full power. I have a feeling we're probably gonna have to pull it back a little bit, but I could be wrong. Let's see what happens. Let's just start at 10 and see what's up. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Cool. So you can see just off the jump with that, we actually have more output at 10 than we had with the shot in high-speed sync mode. Again, that's just going to have a lot to do with the efficiency of a flash not in high-speed sync mode. And I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm just realizing that my head is chopped off on everything that I'm saying. Like, it's nothing but shoulders. It's all good. So the upside for shooting, again, with the neutral density filter is that I have a little more access to a little more output than I would have had in high-speed sync mode. Granted, high-speed sync mode did a great job. That was at 2500th of a second. I'll throw up both the shots so you can see, the high-speed sync and the non-high-speed sync mode. But you can also see at full power the difference that I had between the shot in high-speed sync mode and the shot not in high-speed sync mode. Again, the A2 with the Magnum is a great modifier. Coverage-wise, let's just see. Look on this so we can. Coverage-wise, it does a good job head to toe on Kate. Again, we're a good 8 feet away easily, maybe even 10. So we're pushing a good amount of distance, so you have some working space. The thing you have to remember is that the beam spread of the Clic Magnum is about 35 degrees, so it's tighter. So it's one of those things that if you want some more coverage out of it, you're gonna have to back it up. The upside too for using the Magnum though is that you get a little bit more light output, so you can back it up. So just some things you need to think about. You are gonna have a little bit tighter light spread, so if you're looking at shooting some full body stuff, you're gonna have to kind of just sort out your settings for the looks that you like. You have to back it up a little bit to get a little bit more coverage, but you should be able to do that easily because of the increased output that you get from the Clic Magnum reflector. So all in all, it's a really, really good modifier. Some really cool images I think you can make with it, just like any other Magnum. I think it's a necessity. I think it's a staple with the A2. If you love shooting hard light, this thing's beautiful. So anything else? Do you think we missed anything?
Good.
So that being said, if you have any questions, please ask them, and we'll go back to me in the room and we'll chat it up, talk about some stuff later. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the Q&A. Peace out.
What's up? So it turned out pretty cool, right? So I think some of the things you have to think about when you're looking at how you're going to use your light outside is how you like to use your light. So because I was shooting at a wider aperture f2, I had a lot more wiggle room as far as like power goes. I had some area that I could work with distance. So I think you have to be aware of the way that you like to shoot on location, because you're going to have to sort out the way, the look and feel of your images, if you're more of someone who wants a lot more details in the shot, so you're shooting like f8 versus for this shot, I was shooting f2 because I wanted to kind of get rid of that extra stuff in the background. So, if I was pushing f8, I wouldn't be able to use that working distance. And so that might affect some of the coverage that I would have. So just, those are the kinds of things that you have to think about. So yes, it's just one of those things where, again, based on how you shoot, you're going to have certain amounts of working distance with the light output. So someone was asking me what strength neutral density filter I was using. I was using a variable, so it was just set to. I just turned the neutral density filter until it looked like what it looked like with the shot at 2500th of a second. So I just was trying to bring. You could see in the video that the cord itself was pretty reflective. It was throwing a huge highlight, so I had to actually push the overall exposure down quite a bit.
Any issues focusing?
So the cool thing about using a neutral density filter on a mirrorless camera, so someone's asking if there's any issues focusing with the neutral density filter. So the cool thing about using mirrorless cameras is that, so I don't actually have my Fuji close to me, but so I have a button assigned on my Fuji.
You want to grab it?
Yeah, you can grab it. So like I have a button assigned on my Fuji that allows me to just toggle in and out of my live view display. So like on the front of my camera, I just have if you ever see me kind of fiddling with it when I'm outside, this button right here on the front, I just have set to show me the preview or not show me the preview. And the cool thing about the mirrorless ones is it'll look right through this neutral density filter. It has no problem seeing through it. So as far as focusing goes, I didn't have any issues because it looked just like looking through a regular viewfinder without a neutral density filter on it.
Hank says move the light closer.
Yeah, you can definitely move the light closer. It's, again, I was trying to make sure I got some more even coverage top to bottom. So you could move the light closer, 100%, but the downside is once you start getting it, you start getting to having to think about the inverse square law, right? So if the light's too close to Kate, right, and I'm pointing from here down, the 35 degrees may not cover what I need, but what could also, I think my arm's making it not happy. But what could also happen is she could be more exposed here and less exposed down here. So it's just one of those things where you have to walk the line between the distance and what it is you're trying to achieve. I also was pushed back farther just to kind of see, what kind of distance I could work with at full power. So I wanted my baseline of the flash to be 10 full power, pushing it all the way to the max to see what we could do. The cool thing is so we played around a little bit after the fact, taking some more images. Actually, the final shot, the final image, which I think we can throw up here for a second.
You got the graphics.
Yeah. So here, so the final image, which is this one. We'll come over here so it's not like talking. So the final image of this shot, actually, the power is pulled back on the A2. So when we were using everything at the baseline of 10, I was able to come back to 8.5 with the same working distance and get the exposure that I wanted on Kate. So I got another stop and a half out of it by going with the neutral density filter route over the high-speed sync. The high-speed sync route, so I told you I would throw them both up on the screen so you could see them, and I see some other questions, we'll answer them. But, so this shot right here was the, wait a minute, I'm gonna make sure I'm pulling up the right thing. I am, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So, I just wanted to double check. Cool. So this shot was the image with us in high-speed sync mode, and this next shot was the image of us in with the neutral density filter. So there was a lot more light there than I had with
high-speed sync.
Oh, that's the one without the flash. Yeah. There's just photos everywhere. Yeah. So the high speed sync one, so just so you can see, like the exposure is fine, but it's a touch under, right? So I'm again, all the same working distances, full power, and because of the efficiency lost in high speed sync, it was a little underexposed. I could have pushed it a little bit further forward and probably had the exact same effect, but it was really just about seeing like what I was going to make up to by going the neutral density filter up. Again, if you don't have a neutral density filter, don't worry about it. The high speed sync thing would have been fine. I probably could have moved the light 2 foot closer and it would have been perfect. So
Bike Vision says amazed at the output of the A2.
Yeah, someone was saying that they're surprised with the output of the A2. It's a great little light. I mean, the fact that like it sits in my bag now all the time, right next to my camera. So it's if I need it, I've got it. I usually have a one of the Clic Softboxes strapped to the side of my bag, and honestly, I can just hand hold it. So I put the Softbox with the A2 on this hand and take some photos if I need to really quick. So the A2's it's a great little light. Any other questions? I used the Clic Magnum. Let's see. Someone said I used the Clic Magnum last weekend at a wedding for the first time. Couldn't believe I was able to do high-speed sync at f4. Yeah. So the power makeup is really nice. I mean, you're talking about a 100 watt flash that's almost 400 watts equivalent whenever you put the Magnum on top of it, in that kind of a form factor. It's pretty nice. Hello everybody, good morning.
Let's see, we have one down here.
Let's see, what are they asking? What is the watt seconds of the two? Oh man, I am smacking my microphone pack.
Do you like me to hold it?
I just know it's all funky. So the A2 is 100 watt seconds. And like I said, so with the Magnum on there, you're getting pretty close to 400 watt seconds effective output. It doesn't change how much juice the capacitors have. It's just the reflector's so efficient that it's giving you more light out. The downside is, like I was saying in the video, that it's a little bit more, it's a little tighter, whereas you're getting about a 60 to 65 degree beam spread with the A2 as it is. That Magnum is going to bring it down to about a 35.
Sweet.
Anything else?
If you guys have any more questions,
Cool.
pop them in.
But all in all, it's pretty fun to see what the Clic Magnum can do. It's got a lot of upside. I mean, it's a really cool reflector. It's not that big.
So tiny, yeah.
It's not that big. It goes on really easy with the magnetic setup. It's pretty strong. And then on top of that, you know, if the sun started getting a little bit lower, I could have easily thrown a CTO gel on there and warmed it up right along with it. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with it. So I don't think we have any other questions. Hello, what's up, Andy and Indy? But yeah, again, not super heavy, but just to show you that, you know, the Clic Magnum does a really good job. Battling the sun. I would say, without a doubt, when it comes to doing the same things and kind of going toe to toe, I would probably say no. The sun is just, especially, you know, we were at like 4 o'clock daylight saving time, so like 3 o'clock normal sun time, and that's a unit of measurement, by the way. Yeah. But so it was pretty heavy, but the upside for us is it was backlighting Kate a little bit more. So we were able to do more filling than we were battling. So if you're trying to actually overtake the sun, the A2 is not going to do it. It takes a lot more juice than that, but it does a dynamite job filling in. And if for just so I can talk for like 3 seconds really fast about light placement.
Yeah, I was gonna pop that for you.
So I wanted to make sure, I'm gonna try to get over here so we can talk about this without me being behind the thing. So just like we've talked about in some of our outdoor lives before, for me, it's trying to make the light look less artificial. The tough thing with hard light, and especially when you're using a hard light with another hard light, which is what the sun is, it's very easy for that to happen. But the placement of the light, I put it on kind of the same side that the sun's coming from, just like we talked about in, you know, how to make your flash blend with your ambient light. It is a hard light, so it is a little more in your face than a soft fill would have been. But then again, with a soft fill, I would have lost light, not gained light like I would have with the Magnum. So, but by short lighting Kate from that side, it makes the light feel a little bit more like it's wrapping. Now, the details of the light are that it's got some harder shadows and that it's a harder light, but I think it does a good job of making it look less flashy. So,
and that we kind of answered this question here.
Angle of the OCF and of the Magnum and stuff like that. So the angle on Kate, you know, Kate's like 5'7", 5'8". Okay. So she was probably, the light was probably above her head, pointed down just slightly. So it's not angled down super hard. I don't know the exact degrees it was angled down, but it was pointed down just a little bit, but not too much. The upside is, you know, when you pull back, you don't have to angle down quite as hard. So
I'm thinking of using a 3x4 for teams and individuals.
So someone said they're thinking about using a 3x4 softbox for teams and individuals. You could. It depends on how big the team is. I would tell you if it's a large team and you only have one light, don't use the softbox. Just put the light on a stand, especially if you're using something with our flat front, like a B10 or a B1. The reflector in it is already a 77 degree beam spread. So it's it's a really nice coverage going through, you know, a frosted diffused piece of glass. I would take that single light, I would just back it up a little bit and let that be, I'd put it dead center. If you're working with one light, I'd put it dead center, back it up a little bit, and just let that one light cover everybody. It'd be much easier than trying to get if you have enough power to do it with the softbox, you're more than welcome to give it a shot. The downside to softbox is that you just lose light. So anything else?
Yeah, let's see here.
Cool. So we're just kind of cruising through the questions, making sure we haven't missed
We didn't
anything.
miss anything.
Let's see.
Was that an A10? No, it was an A2.
Would be nice to have that or a reflector that can be stored, turned around over the A2 in my backpack. That's actually kind of a cool idea to be able to just kind of like with the zoom reflector to flip it around and kind of put it into the bag. Where's my,
What do you look for your backpack?
I want to see my,
It's
could you go grab my Magnum really fast in my A2?
Sure.
Yeah, it's in my bag right behind us, isn't it? I think the reflector kind of intrudes into the area that where you would turn that around to, so I'm not really sure, but that is a kind of a cool idea, maybe for Gen 2, right? Yeah, so oh look, we got it all pollinated from being outside too. So yeah, that'd be super. Oh, it's actually not too bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be better if it clipped into place. Let's see what happens here, just because now I'm curious. Now you have my wheel spinning. So I mean,
Someone says the color is a bit off. Do you mean between the?
So yes, the difference in the high-speed sync version and the difference in the non-high-speed sync version is a color shift, and that's just because of the way the flash is managed. It just is. One of them is one big pulse of light. The other one is like the light turning on and then pulsing a whole bunch while it's on and then turning off. So that can change the color temperature a little bit.
Let's see. Anything? I was referring to that.
Someone was asking if you could do the same one with a different light. I wouldn't see why you couldn't. What I did, the thing that we're talking about for the most part is this. So, and this is a modifier made specifically for the A2 or the A10 or the A1 or A1X, any of the A series. So would this fit on your other light? No. But if maybe if they have something comparable, you should be able to do something like that. But it's the technique that we are using isn't reserved for pro photo light. So I mean, you could still take the principles of what we talked about and use that towards how you're shooting. Let's see.
Sauce says cool. Thanks. Ordering.
Cool. Well, very, very cool. Yeah, the warmer look was cool too. At the end of the day, with the final image, that's kind of the direction I leaned with it. I just think I think the warmer look lends itself better to the sun being a little bit further back and casting that forward shadow. But yeah, I really appreciate that. So cool. Anything else, or we?
Let's see. We pop back in. I think we got it.
Sweet. I think we got everything. Well, I appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out. Good morning, Eric. I see you pop in there. You catch the replay. But we really appreciate you guys coming, hanging out, watching. We had a good time shooting.
Yeah, it's always fun doing this stuff.
I might have hurt my back a little bit earlier in the morning, so it was a struggle to touch. But I'll throw my pity party later.
Tiny violin.
Yeah, tiny violin, the smallest violin.
Yes.
But that being said, again, if you have any questions, feel free to DM us. Love to talk to you about it. This
came from an idea that someone had.
We were always planning on taking the Clic outside, but we do a lot of the things that we've done. So like again, last week when we were talking about soft grids, that came from someone I know going, I would love to see the 4x6 soft grid. I was like, all right.
Yeah, we do our best to listen to you guys. So please send us your feedback.
So yeah, so if you want to see something, if you're thinking about how you would use something and you're not sure it would work, and we can take that idea and we could mold it into something that we could present, we'd be more than happy to do it. So you're more, DM Profoto, DM me, and yeah. If you have any other questions, let us know. In the meantime, I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. We have something cool planned for next week. So we'll be sitting like this again next week because our next live is also outside. So, but have something really cool planned for next week. If you haven't, I think if it's not live today, it's live tomorrow. Check make sure you're on the Share the Light group on profoto.com because there's a challenge coming up, and that's our live will be doing the challenge ourselves. So there's a challenge coming up. I think generally you can win stuff. So
yeah,
that's something
prizes are always good.
Yeah. So.
All right.
And then cool. Julian, I hope I answered your question earlier when you're asking if you could do it with a different flash. Again, the principles still apply. I don't know if the modifier works. That's just going to be something you have to try. But yeah, in the meantime, y'all have an awesome rest of your week. Let us know if you have any other questions. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.